Hello, everybody. Welcome to Mental Misdeeds. We're back, episode 3. We are here with a good friend of mine, Tim Locklear. He's a comedian. He's a mixed martial, kind of a comedian. No, I'm just kidding. He's a mixed martial artist. He's ex-military, and he's a dad, and he likes coffee. We were just talking about that before the show. Dre, do you want to give a shout out to the our friend for this ad or for this show?
Absolutely. This is a Chad Powell at perspectivejewelry.com here in Omaha does custom jewelry with metal you have maybe, or can provide that metal for you, make whatever kind of custom jewelry you like, earrings, rings, necklaces, all that stuff. So go check him out. He's a very, very talented guy.
Yep. And if you can't afford it, it means you're poor, and we don't want you listening to our show. So, sorry.
Yeah, this is definitely an anti-poor thing.
This is a very anti.
I get that vibe as soon as I walked in. I'm like, wow, I'm lucky rich here.
Have you ever seen that meme where it's like a genie pops out? It's like, you have 3 wishes, and the guy goes, double world hunger. He goes, what? And he goes, triple student debt.
Whoa, I have not seen that one.
I just want to say, Dre, before you go and look it up, or any of the listeners, I just think that memes in real life have such low translation. It doesn't do it justice. It's a funny ass
right.
Meme.
It's hilarious.
Hilarious.
It's fucking hilarious.
Literally.
It's the Giga Chad.
It's
that guy.
Giga Chad.
It's the Giga Chad. Triple student debt.
Triple student debt.
Well, we are here. It's International Women's Day, so we brought a male guest on. You were going on a little bit of a tirade about it.
I think it's terrible. I think that if we're being consistent about the way that we developed as a community, as a culture, with our gender and with our identity, I think to honor women is just, I think it's heinous. I think it's a mark against forwarding the trans. Is movement okay? Is it okay to say movement?
Cult.
That's
yeah,
rude,
cult's probably better.
Movement's better. Cult's rude. Movement. We were actually got onto that whole little thing because we were talking about gender and
yeah.
Dre, when we got started, said, "Okay, guys."
I said boys.
Wow. Oh,
I said boys.
That is even more egregious. I took some strong offense.
It's a microaggression.
I took a safe spot for a while, but we're back.
Oh,
we talked about microaggressions on the last episode and just how little of sense that it makes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
and it's just fucking. I don't even know where to go on that. It aggravates me.
It's frustrating because they don't. It doesn't give room for legitimate arguments.
No.
There are legitimate problems that exist. For instance, my coffee, whatever brand it is, it's not cold enough, right? Now, it seems funny. It seems kind of whatever. But it says cold brewed coffee. Now, I understand how it was brewed, but I expect that to be cold. So, that's a problem we have, and we could face it. We could fix it. I could put that in the fridge. I could add some ice to it. But, that's called applying logic and reason to an issue. But what this microaggression bullshit is, same thing with that trans shit. I don't mean that trans shit in the sense that legitimate individuals who identify as trans and are struggling with it. That's not who I'm talking about. And we know that. We, the individual complex of upright bipedal Homo sapiens, fucking know that when I say that we're not talking about people who are struggling with their sexual identity. We're talking about assholes. We're talking about people who just want to fuck with you. You know,
they want to club you over the head with something, and this is it today.
This is it, exactly. And
this is the thing.
It's like if you cross my make-believe imaginary fucking line, I'm gonna lash out at you, and it's going to be ambiguous lashing out. It's going to be peculiar, obscure. You're not going to be able to know where it's coming from. You're not going to be able to fix it. You're not going to be able to have any answers. Logic won't respond well. It doesn't work, and it's set up that way. It's intentional, I believe.
See, my whole thing is, I don't even. Okay, so I think the definitions have been muddied. There are legitimately transgender people that I'm a man that was born in a woman's body and vice versa. I have no issue with that. If that person, if my friend, what's a man and a woman's name? My friend Jesse wanted to be called Jessica because he's like, dude, I felt like a woman since the day I was born. I had no problem with that. Where I have an issue is someone just making shit up.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm a non-binary Z, them, but they, them, blah, blah. No, what I won't do is I won't play pretend. I won't foster mental illness with that the same way I wouldn't agree with a schizophrenic person that there was a unicorn standing over there. Okay. I won't do that.
I want to add some thoughts to this. So I appreciate this position.
Sure.
I've heard it before.
Yeah. I've
heard it articulated from people before where they're like, this is oftentimes it's touted as like the woke, the truly woke, the right, the correct position generally to have. The most of the people, 60, in my opinion, 65 to 75% of the people who I interact with on this subject have that position that Caleb just asserted. That it's like, and furthermore, most of them also have the same position of, I'm not trying to be mean, I'm not trying to be hurtful, I'm not trying to assert some sort of political ideal. I just don't want to be fucked with. Don't fuck with me so much, right?
Don't fuck with me.
Don't fuck with me, man. But at the same time, the argument and the position that they're taking, the argument that they are postulating and the position that they're taking necessarily sets us up to be fucked. Like, we're fucked if we pay attention. We're fucked if we ignore it. We're fucked if we try to articulate a response that would disagree with it. And we're fucked if we articulate, and if we sit here on this podcast, we're being anti
whatever the TikTok trend of the day is.
What is the fuck? Yeah, anti
just
that.
hateful.
Anti-vax? Anti-vaccination?
Oh man, let's not go there. I do vaccinate, but not like that. We can talk about
I don't fucking care. We talk about.
I just think anybody that's anti anything, fuck them. Fuck that.
Yeah. What if I'm anti like genocide?
I don't know. Some people are dicks. You ever think about how many fucking pedophiles that died in the Holocaust?
Oh God!
Like Christ Almighty, I'm not trying to say the fucking Jews should have died, but I'm saying there were a lot of kid fuckers. There were a lot of kid fuckers who died in the Holocaust. So thank God they died, right? What are you fucking saying, that you wanted them to be around to keep fucking kids? Like, I'm not saying that.
How many minutes until YouTube takes us down? We're at 7.
I said it's bad to fuck kids. That's wrong, and you shouldn't do that.
And he's just saying that it was a silver lining.
Oh God.
Is what he was saying.
You said silver lining. I said something in Hebrew. I don't know. No, I'm joking. No, I mean, like, I'm sort of being facetious, but we don't want to think ethically consistent. We don't want to think consistently about our ethics. We don't. Us humans, we don't. Because if we do, we're led to that kind of conclusion. Because logically, if we exclude all the other extrapolating things that made us all scoff and cough and laugh just now, and let's just get down to the nitty-gritty facts. There were child molesters in the Jewish communities who were killed by Germans. So it could be said, if you just forget all the other innocent people, that it was good that those people died. But again, that's the similar kind of argument that many of the trans people in this community are postulating. An argument that is unarguable against, you see? Because if you were to try to argue back against me about my crazy Holocaust idea about kid fucker, you'd be like, Tim, that's crazy. And I'm like, yeah, but what are you saying? You don't like, you want pedophiles to stick around? And then you'd say, no, Tim, but what about all the other dead Jews? And I'm like, yeah, but forget them. What about these child molesters are bad people? You see? So my argument is fallacious for a number of reasons. And that is part of the reason why
Tim was joking. He does not support genocide or the Holocaust. It was an example that will be taken out of context by someone on the fucking loser brigade, though.
Please take it out of context.
That's all.
Yeah, whatever. Yes. I don't have time for the loser brigade.
These views necessarily represent, for the last 15 seconds, Tim fucking Locklear, okay? And I'm not, and I mean, I'm sort of trying to use a tongue-in-cheek method of like legitimately articulating a view that says that it's wrong. It's wrong to throw everybody into one group or a category. For instance, child molesters.
Right.
We don't, it's like, well, no, but there's Jewish child molesters and then there's all the other child molesters. It's like, we're glad, like, there's not a group of people in this world. And Caleb's like, Tim, pull it back. Stop. I tried to pull you back out. Now you're going back in. No, but there's a fucking reason.
You know, it's bad when I start calling timeout.
There's not a group of people on this planet that are like, no, those child molesters are okay. Let them stick around. They're like, no, fuck them. If they could burn them. They're fucking child molesters. Kill them. But now we have this other thing where, like, there's this genocide happening that we all don't agree with.
That comment up.
Yeah, there it is.
Sure.
My point is, look, let's just.
It's specifically a white Democrat.
Let's just be rational and consistent. That's what I mean. And if you try to respond and say, okay, you aren't an elf. You aren't a Z. You aren't. You fucking aren't. You aren't. Then you're being illogical. You're being hurtful. You're being anti. But the same kind of 3 arguments could be given back to the person who, like, I could see that Dre has this view in her mind. She's like, but Tim, the genocide was bad. And then Caleb's like, no, but the Holocaust was bad. Those are like those same kinds of arguments back. And the person trying to convince them of that, no, I am a Z, I am a Zay, I am a Zeta, I am a fairy, I am a
clown.
A clown. No,
that's the new. That's the new pronouns. Is clown and clown self.
Yeah,
I'm not kidding. I think it's accurate.
Yeah.
I think they should roll with it.
Self.
I approve of that.
That was a whole thing. That was a whole subject of like the what was it? You can be different selves, and so your different selves can have different genders.
What?
So you can be like, I am. What did you say? What was the word?
Clown self.
Clown self.
Clown
you can be like dog self. You can be cat self. But
so your dog and cat self can be different genders.
Yes.
So your cat can be a girl, your dog can be a boy self.
Exactly.
Well, but
hold on. Did you just put genders into 2 categories, which is totally closed-minded?
Oh, fuck me.
Yeah.
You just
cats and clowns.
Yeah. The producer just held up a small dog that looked like a rat, so it's important to mention. I mean, nobody else here knows that happened because you can't see, but it happened.
That's
my favorite is getting Snapchats of that very, very angry dog.
I definitely support
Caleb
rat
touches
extermination.
That dog is so angry. It's so angry, dude.
But
the other
only
night
with Caleb.
She has like a fucking toy that she like obsessively humps, and because Chihuahuas do that when they get nervous. And the other night she was doing it, and it was like fucking like she was raping this thing. It was abusive. It was very horrible. Bad. So I went over while she was doing it, and I just pinched her right on the leg, and she didn't growl at me. She screamed. I've never heard a noise like I can't even recreate it. I've never heard a noise like this come out of a dog's mouth. But it was something that was not of this earth. It was so fucking hateful.
It was terrible.
It was a scream came out of this dog. It wasn't a scream in pain. It was in anger. It was just pure hatred.
Pure hatred.
Yeah. She snarls and snaps at him like she just wants him dead.
You know, he sends me these fucking videos of this beast thing, this creature, this rat / finky like sewer dwelling creature thing that they fucking pulled out from under an Oldsmobile somewhere in fucking North Omaha.
Dog to everybody else.
Racist.
You know, no. So she's a sweet dog to me when Mia's not home.
Yeah.
She'll sit there and she'll cuddle up right next to me. But when anyone else is here, she's got to put a show on.
The camera, the dog must think the phone that he's filming this with has its mother in a box, and the only way to get it out is scream and bark and bite because that motherfucking dog goes crazy, and it's not well. It looks unhealthy. Yeah. Also, it's worth mentioning that like most of everything I'm saying is induced by caffeine. So if it sounds stuttery or wrong, it's the coffee.
It's a very angry dog. It's a very angry dog.
It looks so upset right now.
It's always upset.
It looks so upset and depressed. We're referring to the dog, not the producer. The producer's wonderful.
Even though she's dressed like Rocky.
But, yes.
She's got the gray sweatsuit on.
I dress that way when I feel like Rocky Road. Fatness. Fat joke.
So it's caffeine that calms Tim down because this is the least talkative and most calm I've ever been in his presence.
Tim just went on a 5-minute rant justifying the Holocaust.
I did fucking not, you lying son of a bitch. I didn't say that.
Literally, whenever I'm hanging out with Tim, he's usually like a million miles a minute, and we go through like 10 subjects, and it's just great. You get a lot of information in a short amount of time.
Now, the question you have to ask yourself after leaving that interaction was I assaulted? Was it verbal, audible rape? Did I want that to happen? Should I contact the local victims police officer department?
SVU, Olivia Benson?
No, I would say that caffeine for me has the effect of doing 2 things. It has the ability of taking how I feel and just turning it up like 2 or 3 clicks, and then I drink a little more and 2 or 3 more clicks. So however I feel that big, right? So then you mix a little bit of hemp products in with that caffeine, and it makes it so that like the hemp products want to bring me down and the caffeine wants to bring me up. So I find this sort of mellow, wavy balance. And usually when you see me, it's right before I go up on stage and tell my shitty semi-comedian jokes where I attempt to make people giggle. And so I'm pretty anxious.
Well,
which is unbelievable because I'm just bullshitting on stage. It just happens to have a mic in front of me.
Caffeine for me is like it's not even that, man. It's what I need to get through the day.
So you're an addict.
2 or 3 cups. Otherwise, I'm a fucking piece of shit to deal with. Yes, I'm an addict.
Isn't it funny that we accept that? Like that as a community, as a society, we joke pejoratively about crackhead, but we accept totally, completely that we are fucking addicted to this compound.
I mean, how many people do you know have robbed a liquor store for coffee?
I don't know, man. Have you ever kept coffee from me? Like, I don't know. I've never been in a situation where I needed coffee bad enough and I couldn't get it. Because, like, I don't know if anybody else here knows this, but if you're really fucking broke and poor, go to your local hotel. Go to the upscale one. Like, go out West Omaha where the rich people live.
Or downtown hotels.
Like, go to like a Brick Ridge or some other name that's I can't say here because you're on syndication places, or maybe you will. You'll get syndicated. But
don't get us sued, man, for telling us how to steal.
Just go to a nice hotel.
Go to a nice hotel. Forget the name. And
go to this specific place.
Go to this place and rob these motherfuckers. Ask for Bill. He'll be their manager 9 to 3. Go in there and get your fucking coffee. And you go and you make it the way you want. You take your fucking time. You go slow. Make sure you got a pair of shades sitting on top of your head with because you look like you're about to leave. Have your keys flip your keys a couple times in your hand before you get your coffee's going. And then you walk out. Hey, thanks. Have a good day, guys.
You know, that's if you're homeless, yeah, man. You should just go bounce to those continental breakfasts.
If you're homeless, kill yourself. I mean, not that you should, but you're gonna eventually. Like, that's how you fucking got here. Like, you're not gonna be around a long time. And if you're not, it's okay. Like, that's all right. Like, we're not all supposed to make it to the fucking end. Nobody's made it off the earth anyway, right? I don't know.
I mean, the facts are fact. These are true things, but I don't know.
It's hard.
I mean, I have heard some people do want to be homeless. They just checked out of society. You know what I mean? They don't mind sleeping outside. They don't want to have a job or a phone number. They're cool with it. Don't try and give them like a roof. Like, they just don't want it. But I'm sure that is a very, very small percentage.
No, there's a legit fucking Facebook group called Hobo Mingle. And it's just a group I'm serious. It's a group where homeless people communicate with each other about where all the good places to steal shit from dumpsters are.
That's not where I thought that site was going when you said that.
No, it's not a hookup site.
I thought it was going to be a hookup site too.
Definitely thought it was going to be a homeless fuck site.
It's it's crazy though. Like, they'll post pictures of each other and they'll be like, look out for Boxcar Joe. He stole from my tent last weekend. Like, it's fucking wild, man. Wow. Hobo Mingle, unless they've taken it down. This was a couple years ago. It's a wild fucking place to go. Everyone should go check it out at least once.
That's definitely filled with a lot of flip phone, grainy fucking photos taken in outhouses.
For sure.
You know?
Absolutely.
A lot of real low quality selfies that are filled with like the first 10 seconds of the video is, wait, hold on. Fuck, it's already recording. How the fuck do I turn this fucking thing around? And then it like drops into the toilet and you see him up there with like a turd floats over the camera.
Another thing you can do.
That's a new T-Mobile commercial.
Is another thing that's fun to do if you're bored is find like a schizophrenic person on Facebook and just follow their posts.
You're bored, just go to the schizophrenic group and find a few.
No, you got to find it's like I'm not name dropping anybody because I don't want anyone to go to them. But Monty Scott and I have found this fucking whack job who lives in our area.
Yeah.
And his business went under.
Their business, asshole.
Yeah. So he is convinced that his business went under because he didn't carry a certain brand of product in it. And that company went on to hire the cartel, the Gambino crime family, the Bloods, and the Ku Klux Klan to run him out of business.
Wow.
Jesus Christ.
That's the theory.
I know people who are like that.
That's his theory.
They need love. They need medicine.
Medicine, for sure.
Yeah.
Well, he posted a 20-minute video. Of course, I watched the whole thing. He posted a 20-minute video talking about how all this went down and like all of his ideas behind it. And there was a church involved and a judge was paid off. And then he ends it. He's like, I signed a contract to pay my landlord $64,000. I paid him $54,000. So who really got ripped off here?
This guy sounds like a good babysitter. I'm gonna look him up. Seems like a fucking put together guy. Like he's got his shit figured out. He's got a good life going.
Dude, he's unhinged. Caleb showed me some of his stuff. It's all in all caps. It's just a long rant after rant.
Why can't we have him on the show?
Oh God. No, because he get us sued, dude. He fucking name drops like just random anyone he doesn't like. He name drops as a child sex trafficker on his Facebook, and it's bad. He posted a fine he got from the fire department the other day because he kept calling false reports in.
Some people just can't help it.
Like fake fires or what?
Yes.
Jesus, dude.
I mean, like, remind me the name of this podcast again. It is
Mental Misdeeds.
Mental Misdeeds.
Right up there.
That's Mental Misdeeds right there. I mean, that is a very fitting subject for the name of the podcast. I mean, mental health, mental illness would be like a contributing factor to why a lot of people do what they do. A lot of the funny people that we both know that tell funny jokes are ill.
Most of them are
not like Beastie Boys ill, but like Marilyn Manson ill.
You have to be. I think a little bit mentally ill to some degree to go up and tell jokes. Otherwise, you just won't be good at it.
Yeah,
we're all a little disturbed.
And I tell the jokes, I go do it, and I'm still not good at it. So
everyone's a little disturbed that gets up on a stage that lasts for any period of time. I mean, for more than 6 months. We're all a little fucked up. It is what it is, though. It's okay. I'm not as funny when I'm not fucked up.
Like how much, I guess I've been thinking a lot about this, like how sort of a segue to like how fucked up we are, but like how much of what we do and why we do it and how we do it can we relate to or can like point to directly, like our parents did this and this fucking thing happened. You know what I mean? Like, because I think about that all the time with having children. It's like I wonder if I'm fucking up my kids by this one little thing that to me seemed inconsequential, but to them it's like, well, now my kid has to, I don't know, can't eat carrots because it gives her a fucking panic attack.
I think that your parents and the way you're raised definitely shapes some of your adulthood and your perspective on life and the things you do. But at the same time, there's people who had meth head parents that grew up to start successful companies. So it's like, it's really what you make of it. I think a lot of people use the fact that they had a shitty childhood as a crutch. I didn't have the best childhood. It wasn't terrible, but it wasn't great. And I try not to use that as a crutch for anything. Like if I'm ever in a position where I'm blaming my parents for something that I'm doing as an adult, I'm like, Caleb, grow the fuck up. That's not why you're here right now. Like just cut it out right now.
You've been out of their house for a few years now.
I've been out for just a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah. They can't really take the blame for stuff you're doing today.
No.
And I agree, definitely not that they should take the blame, but more so to suggest that like we can draw correlations. We can say, hey, like, just for an example, like let's say I go and I spend the afternoon with my mom, hang out, we do some stuff. I find out, and this is a perfect example because it legitimately happened, where she's like, coffee's really been bothering me. It's been hurting my heart. Like I get like I feel flutters. And I'm like, that's interesting. So then I go and find out that her mom had this palpitation in her heart. Yeah. And her brother and her sister had these other heart.
I've got one too. Yeah, I've had
so it's like I just started researching coffee and like what it's. I read that book by Michael Pollan, Coffee or Caffeine. I think it's called Caffeine. Or maybe that's just the title. I don't know. Probably Caffeine, Why We're Fucked. I don't know, something like that. But regardless, the book was amazing and it exposed some of these things where it's not just coffee, but other compounds that we consume that we rely on. I wonder, A, if it's good, and then B, if our parents took some of this shit, if it would have helped them. Like if all the fuck ups we faced now, it's like I wonder if they would have, I don't know, had some fucking L-theanine or glutamine or DMT or something that would have helped them,
The last thing my parents needed was DMT.
You sure?
I'll just say that. I couldn't imagine. No.
Maybe. Yeah, it's a joke, but like, I can't imagine anything better than finding the joy of healing with my father or mother.
Yeah.
Than I think the only time I could imagine the healing I've experienced to be better is if I was closer to the ones I loved when it was happening. So my mom, my dad, my wife.
No, I can understand that.
Caleb.
I can understand that. I mean, you have 6 kids?
I do. I have 6 children. There it goes. A lot of people, I have to say that I have 6 children, and it's important to mention a few facts here. So it's like all from the same woman. We've been married, for 18 years. We were never Catholic.
Or Mormon.
None of that shit. Although there was a few cults that we did ascribe to time and time throughout the time. 18 years is a long time. There's a lot of cults you can get into in 18 years. A lot of brainwashing, a lot of good old brainwashing happening.
He had that brief stint in Waco in the 90s.
Dude, I'll tell you something
dipped
funny.
out before it got bad.
The Branch Davidians is what they were called. Yeah. David Koresh.
What about him?
He ascribed to a religious viewpoint previous to his change to what many would consider to be anathema, right? So he changed this viewpoint that said that he was Christ. But previous to that, according to the research I've done, which is fuck tons, right?
Wikipedia.
Like 10, 15 minutes of YouTube searches.
And the Netflix show.
And a Netflix show that I know is for sure correct. It led me to finding out that David Koresh was actually an elder in a Pentecostal church. And a Pentecostal meaning evangelical, charismatic, basically your run-of-the-mill average American Christian with some extra religiosity and feel voo-boo put in there. But I mean, in essence, doctrinally, he wasn't all that different from Bellevue Christian Center or Calvary Christian or Westside Baptist or any of these big name churches here in Omaha.
Mm-hmm.
Their doctrine is not different, except for when he went crazy and created the Branch Davidians and said he was Christ and then killed people and was sleeping with women and all kinds of shit.
Yeah.
Not that
I can sleep with your women. You can't, but
Exactly.
it's
That
cool.
was-
How did the cool part?
How did he get that many guys to go along with that? That guy would have made a hell of a car salesman.
Like, Jesus Christ, yeah.
David Koresh would have made a hell of a car salesman.
It's true.
Seriously.
Yeah.
You can convince 50, 60 dudes like, hey, only I can fuck your wife. And you know what?
That's
When I make a
nuts.
daughter with your wife, I get to marry her if I want to.
I'm
Like-
gonna fuck your wife. Okay, here's me quoting David Koresh, just so nobody takes his fucking shit out of context. David Koresh said, I'm gonna fuck your wife. I'm gonna have a baby with that woman, and then I'm gonna wait until that baby grows up, and then I'm gonna fuck that kid too.
Yep.
That's what David and the guys
Oh
were like.
God,
The
I
guys
didn't
were
know
like,
about that
"Fuck
part.
yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
Let's do more of that, David. All right, here's my
Yeah.
daughter.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know why they had a Canadian accent because they're fucking idiots.
If they were in Texas.
Because
but-
they're yeah.
I mean,
my Canadian accent is far superior to my Texas accent, but I'm from Texas. I spent a lot of time around a lot of fucking northern cucks. Ugh.
I mean,
Fucking, sorry.
you know, I'll give him
Cucks or
credit for
Canucks,
if nothing else, he pulled
Yes.
off the fucking grift of the century.
right?
Maybe not
man?
quite Jim Jones, but
I mean, Jim Jones was the deal, bro. And then how about
That's
the folks
crazy.
in Guyana that drank was that Jim Jones? Was Jim Jones in
yeah,
Guyana?
that was
The
Jim
Kool-Aid
Jones.
dude?
The Kool-Aid dude,
Jonestown,
that was
yeah.
Jim Jones. Yeah,
So
Jonestown.
There was
Why-
another
what
one.
was
It
his-
was Heaven's Gate.
Oh,
Was the
Heaven's
other
Gate
one?
was the other one with the Reeboks.
Yeah, they were the ones that they.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna mention it, Mia. Don't worry.
Oh no.
Mia has a personal tie to Heaven's Gate.
Oh, I
She
see.
probably doesn't want me talking about it on the air.
I have a personal tie to interest in the Heaven's Gate. I also have a personal tie to United Pentecostal Church.
Heaven's Gate is still around. Is a fun fact. That's the
is?
tie. It's still around. There are still members of it.
I see.
I don't understand. Like, you have physical evidence they were wrong. They took the spaceship, never came, and people still fall for it.
Yeah.
Like, how?
Well, I mean, you still got like a few thousand, maybe a few 100,000. I'd like to think tens of thousands of Scientologists around.
If you listen to Leah Remini, they're
Man.
fucking around every corner, man.
Yeah. I mean, it's pretty crazy. So, I mean, I
talk
say
about a crazy, scary cult. When I watched and listened to her talk about them,
Take
I
what
had
she
no
says with a grain of salt, because I think she's got a little interest in it.
Yeah,
But
right?
yeah,
Yeah.
well,
It was a damn good Netflix documentary she got produced and made a bunch of money on.
it does. I mean, I think there are seeds of truth to it. There's no doubt they're abusive. Anyway, continue. What were you saying? Sorry. Dre.
oh no, just like going after your family and like turning them against you, like that alone is crazy. Not to mention like the whole, you got to buy this shit. Oh, that's out of date. Now you got to buy more shit, and it's hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Sounds like college.
Yeah. And like, here's the crazy thing too, is like, it's easy for us now sitting here to characterize them as cults and to say that's a cult and it's bad and that's, that's not great and that's bad behavior and look at that bad stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But then we don't think about it that we're driving by literal cults every fucking day, every day.
Speak for yourself.
Well, I mean, like, think about this. If you drive from West Dodge, if you take Dodge in Omaha from 42nd Street to 180th Street, and you don't get off Dodge and you get on you just keep going, you're going to pass hundreds of temples of cults. If we use the definition in the Oxford Dictionary, these are all cult. And the biggest one, obviously, is the Roman Catholic Church.
Mm-hmm.
They fuck kids. Like, that's proven. Like, they do that. So there's that. Like, they're a cult that does that. Like, David Koresh was a cult that believed he was Jesus and said that he could fuck all the wives, and I'm gonna get all the ammo, and we're gonna shoot the government, and then
I'm fine with that part.
I'm fine with that last part, yeah.
Yeah.
And then the other one, the Heaven's Gates, and then so we have all these cults like that. What they're known for, the drinking the Kool-Aid, like that's a euphemism. That's a colloquial euphemism. Drinking the Kool-Aid.
Mm-hmm.
That's commonly known as a household term now. So let's just not forget that the Roman Catholic Church fucks kids, because they're a cult.
Well, let's also not forget about the other cult that's even larger than the Roman Catholic Church and has even more schools where more children go. Public schools.
Thank you.
There are far more children getting abused and having there's far more opportunity for abuse in the public schools. There's 10 times as many, and they have, of course, go unreported. People trust the public school because daddy government provides it.
Norm Macdonald had a bit about it in his stand-up. He used to roast teachers, and he got heckled by a teacher, and he's like, what's funny is the only profession that abuses more kids than priests is teachers.
That's brilliant and true.
It's true, though.
It's horrendous. My wife spent all of her careering in her schooling in public school.
Mm-hmm.
And as an Air Force kid, she went from place to place to place to place to place to place to place, and never had all the experiences that many people listening who had military growings up know what that's like, right? Yeah. I also grew up in a military family, Air Force also, where my dad moved all over the damn place. But I was homeschooled, and my mom and dad chose to homeschool me primarily because of the religious reasons, and by that I mean they believed in that evolution on a big level doesn't happen. Donkeys don't become, in their opinion, donkeys don't become frogs. Horses. And apes don't become humans, and turkeys don't become all this stuff. So their view of it, of creationism particularly, was the crux, not the other things, because their view was, he needs to learn how to use his dick, so sex ed is fine. I'd rather, and also, like my mom and dad would say this regularly, it's like, you're gonna know how to use your shit before some shithead at the fucking school is gonna show you anyway. So fine, teach sex ed. My mom and dad were like, generally, it's better that you know how to use this shit than not. So, I'm not okay with putting illicit, nude, upright adult humans doing sex in front of minors without consent. That's fucking heinous. That's pornography. That's child endangerment.
Mm-hmm. That's grooming.
That's fucked up. That's grooming for being a good yes man. That's what that is. And by the way, if I'm going to get on this fucking rant for a second, that's exactly what public school fucking is. It's preparation to be a good yes man. You need to learn how to clock the fuck in. You need to learn how to wake the fuck up, because if you're not a good team player. You're not a good part of the fucking system. And that shit was pushed in the early 20s and 30s, and then the 40s and 50s happened.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder what happened in the 40s and fucking 50s in our country and all over the fucking world. Am I saying that public school is preparation for a world war? No, but I'm saying that the tools that the fucked up government that starts World War III will use will be the students of fucking today.
Mm-hmm.
The tools of the propaganda machine for tomorrow will be the students of today. Because I'm not allowed to say to my daughter, hey, come here, sweetie. I'm not allowed to say that in public because sweetie has gender connotations to it. And I'm coaxing and training my child that these binary gender terms are good and profitable. And if I do anything other than that, I'm being hateful. And people can come into my home and fuck with me and tell me what I can smoke. They can tell me what I can drink. They tell me what I can eat. Fuck you. Fuck that. I'm going to raise my kids the way I fucking want. And my daughter's 14. And I love to talk shit to public school parents who talk shit about homeschool parents. But it's rare that I meet them now.
I bet.
Now, like I'm 38. Now, most of the fucking parents that I meet that I tell I homeschool, they don't shit on me. They used to.
They're jealous that they can't do it.
They're like, dude, how the fuck do you do that? I'm stroking my beard for those not watching. How the fuck did you do that? Man, how is that happening? Like, what do you do when they have a question? You fucking answer it, you dunce. You go to the goddamn book, you open it the fuck up, and you learn. And we turn the fucking computer off.
I think
it's
a
huge thing.
I think test taking, we were talking about like standardized testing and everything is such a crock of shit. Like it's to teach groups of kids that they can't use their resources. You know, I have never had a job in my life where I had where I was sent to work on something and my boss said, you know, if you go use your resources, you're fired. If you ask questions, if you try to look in like the employee handbook or whatever, you're fired. I've never had that happen. In fact, it's the opposite. Literally everywhere you work will encourage you to do two things: ask questions and use your resources. But for some reason, we just have to memorize shit and take these standardized tests that it's completely worthless.
Public school doesn't make smart humans.
No.
If it makes thinkers.
Compliant ones.
Exactly. If it makes thinkers, it doesn't accidentally.
Yep. They would have been anyway.
Exactly. They would have been smart motherfuckers to begin with.
Yeah.
But public school doesn't teach you how to think. It teaches you how to take good tests. It teaches you how to show up. It teaches you how to be a good team member. That's some bullshit.
You know what the problem is though is private schools and charter schools pretty much do the same thing because they just copied the model, except they made it cost $1 billion
and
it's
inserted religiosity.
It's not as bad, and they insert the religion. It's not as bad, but it's still they copied the model, and then they're going to charge you $1 billion for it.
Now, I will say, I don't want to totally shit on what you said because I veritably agree with almost everything you said, except for there are some private schools that. Like parochial schools and different kinds of like learning adjunct things that are really great. But then there are some that are really shitty, like what you said, that just simply they take a public school model, they insert Jesus or some other religious ideal, or even worse, the ones that are now popping up on the West and the East Coast, not in the Midwest yet. We haven't seen it yet, but maybe down in Austin where fucking Joe Rogan is. But on the East and the West right now, it's these these private schools that are coming out advertently as atheist. So they're adopting, in essence, they're the same fucking thing as the Christian schools. They have their own religion. Their religion is fuck God, right? It's like anti-Christ.
Oh, it's the neckbeards from the internet finally built their own schools.
Yeah, all those fucking idiots over at what was that? All those fuckheads at Chad. What was that place called? No,
Chaz.
Chaz. Yeah, all those fuckheads at Chaz. All the elders. They all started their own school. No, I'm joking about that last part, but the first part I am for real about. Like, there's a
like
good
even as an atheist, like why wouldn't you just have a school that was like all fact and science based and like evolution and all that?
That's called
you don't
public
need
school.
to shit on anybody else. You just have to say, hey, here's our point of view. You know what I mean?
I'm glad that Caleb just mentioned that because fuck what he just said as being wrong. You said, what'd you say?
That's called public school.
It's called public school, which it isn't. Because it isn't. It's not that. It's you think it's like all logic and reason.
It's not
and
at
stuff
all.
And all this like. It's not about that. They don't give a fuck about learning.
Dre, can you still hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you. I may need to like change the battery or something.
Oh, you're good. We'll just keep talking.
We'll keep talking.
Public schools.
Yeah, keep talking. I'll be right back.
So basically, like in my opinion, it doesn't cultivate like good scientific learning. Like any good thinkers, any people that have made technological advances in community, oftentimes, and like it's so much. What I'm about to say is so much so a thing that it's a joke. It's like, well, they failed every other class, but they passed this, like fucking Einstein and all these other, big-headed people. Like they're generally considered as the big heads in our culture, and yet still like Elon Musk is touted as like failing a lot of his courses in primary school.
Yeah, Einstein was too.
Right.
It's like, I mean, he thought shit was boring.
Exactly. And there's a fucking reason, by the way.
Yeah.
It's because they went to public school. Maybe they went to private school. Maybe they were entitled, but they still got the same basic fucking curriculum education.
Yeah.
Which is fucked. Like, again, the curriculum is not designed and intended to create thinkers.
No.
And learners. It's just it's intended to make you into a good compliant, yes, man.
Compliant. It's very much operated like a prison almost.
Dude,
I mean, you
really
get to go home,
dude.
Of course, but what campers, security guards, police officers, you got to be here at this time, and you can't leave between this and this period. You need a permission to use the restroom. I mean, they operate public schools like a prison. I'm not saying that it's the same thing as a prison. Don't take that out of context, but it's very much operated like one.
It's very much operated like it, and it's traumatic as hell. Because you look at like my oldest daughter's 14, and she's a writer, she's an artist, and she's published on Medium, she's published on Query, Word, all the big
Word, did you say Word? Microsoft Word?
She's published on Excel.
I'm published on PowerPoint.
She's on Excel. All the other clicky clicks that www.internet, that fast stuff down there.
Is this called Facebook?
Facebook.
She's published
that bookie faces there. No, she's prolific. She's amazing. She writes 2 or 3 different articles a week. She's constantly engaging with socioeconomical issues. She's very, very much aware of like the racial tension in the world right now. There's
racial tension.
Oh, there's so much.
Oh, man. I didn't know.
Especially between the northern and southern Asians. They're fighting the most. It's not between the blacks and whites at all.
They hate each other.
They hate northern and southern Asians right now. That's what they prefer to be called, is Northern Asian, Southern Asian. They don't actually like any of those other nomenclatures that we use. They're fighting the most with one another right now. It's not even black and white.
No.
I mean, like if you were to watch Facebook like you and I watch, or Instagram or Twitter, we would think it's just about black and white, but it's actually the North Asians and the South Asians. They just like in Asian, S Asian, or just NASA. They just shorten it up when you're talking to them. You just like NASA.
Yeah.
And then they just know, like, that's just what they like. They're just like NASA. They dig that. Yeah.
Huh.
And these are the kinds of things that we're teaching our kids as homeschools, that Daddy Jesus is real. We call Asians NAs and SAs. It's just how it works. I mean, like, these kinds of things are what we're really not getting taught in public schools nowadays.
Well, that and common sense and logic. And I mean, you've seen the fucking videos where these parents will take these books that were in the library about like adult child relationships and shit. And like, I'm sorry. That has no. There's this outrage about Texas or wherever banned books, and I'm like, dude, they're not banning To Kill a Mockingbird or like books about slavery or the Holocaust or Anne Frank or Harry Potter. Like I'm sorry, I don't think that a book about a 45-year-old man dating a 15-year-old boy has any place in a public school library. I'm sorry.
I think those books should be there as much as the organization called Mambla should be around.
Yeah.
Anyone, not anyone. I don't want to encourage anyone to not listen to this podcast, obviously.
Yeah.
But if you are listening and you're capable of doing it, hit a quick pause button and go to DuckDuckGo and search Mambla.
The founder was a public school teacher.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah.
No
or vice president. Yeah.
Would you look at that?
That was like, because I had to
just look at it.
When I was in college, I had a law studies course I had to take. And one of the Supreme Court cases we did was this teacher sued for free expression because he got fired from the district because he was the vice president of NAMBLA.
Wow.
At the time.
I mean, he
lost.
Of course. I definitely think that generally men and boys should love one another.
Sure.
I just don't think.
Not in a romantic way?
No.
Yeah.
No,
not at all.
No, I mean, because anybody that I romantically love, I want to fuck.
Right. Yeah.
I don't know anybody that I romantically like that I don't want to fuck.
Right.
There's only really one of them right now.
Yeah.
I say right now because I don't have any future plans, but the world's on its head. And I don't know.
Yeah.
Zombies might come and.
Not zombies, mutants.
Mutants.
It's radioactive.
Is that where we're at now?
It'll be mutants if there's nukes.
Mutants if there's nukes.
Yeah.
Sounds like the new Good Charlotte rendition band name.
Mutants if there's
Mutants
nukes.
if there's nukes. Yeah.
That's their
with their title
album.
track, Emo.
Yeah.
I can see them flipping their hair back right now and like crying about public schools. No. So what's the time frame on this? Just so I know, I'm not in any way in a rush at all.
We usually do like an hour, but Dre just disappeared.
Dre disappeared. That's okay. We lost our female cohort. She's the only reason why we were allowed to keep talking. Really.
International Women's Day is canceled.
Yep. Our producer she appears to identify as a binary female. Is that correct? I mean, I'm asking. No, she's not. She said yes.
She nodded her head. Yes.
All I heard, I just saw her shoulders moving. I think I might have offended her.
She doesn't believe in any of that crap.
That crap?
That's that crap.
Is that crap?
John.
Uh-oh.
All right.
Whoever that was, Dre, just now, that was not nearly as cute as that chair. Okay. We were discussing the gender of our producer.
Yeah. We were debating it.
Oh, yeah. Well, Caleb was debating it. I was trying to be kind.
But yeah, no. So we were talking about public schools. Still, we were still ranting
public schools.
About
we were ranting about public schools,
about how terrible they are.
Still
we were talking about
awful.
We were talking about how they're grooming children to adult-child relationships, and like,
before the camera cut out, I heard you guys were talking about how people were getting bent out of shape that they were banning books in Texas. Like, no, they're taking pornography out of pre-K, K, first and second and third grade.
It's not like 20 years ago when they were trying to ban like Harry Potter, you know what I mean? Or like books about slavery or the Holocaust. No, there's literally, even in the deepest of the South, I guarantee you will not find a school that's like pretending slavery didn't happen. You know what I mean? It's just not going to happen. Like the books that are being banned are fucking repulsive, and I'm sorry, have no business being obtained by children.
I want to be clear,
I don't think it should be illegal to write those books. If you want to sell it at your bookstore, go right the fuck ahead, but don't make it free for children to get and just pick up without an adult without adult supervision.
I don't disagree with you, Caleb.
Yeah.
And Dre, I don't disagree at all, but I definitely want to offer a perhaps slightly contradictory view.
Sure.
Personal fucking responsibility.
Yeah,
that little upright human that my wife and I let out of our person, that we just we did this thing together and then it came out. That little thing is my fucking responsibility.
Right.
And if it goes and picks up your porn mag, that's my fucking fault. Yeah, it's not their fucking fault because they're innocent children, and it's not your fucking fault. You were a cunt before you put that book on the shelf. You didn't suddenly become a cunt just because my kid picked up your shit.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sorry that you were a stupid ass and made that ridiculous fucking book. I don't like it. My kid probably won't. It's going to confuse the shit out of a lot of people, but fuck me. I'm not the book police. And it's not for me to go burning books. I know where that shit leads.
Yep.
I'm not interested in infringing on anybody's rights.
No.
But yeah.
Right.
Man blood is another fucking thing.
Let's not groom prepubescent children.
Yeah. I'm pointing to you and saying, yes, what she's saying.
Dude,
I'm pointing to the air.
It's coming though. Have you seen the ads for that movie Licorice Pizza?
Oh my Christ, that is fucking gruesome.
I love
Did you see?
I didn't.
No, I fucking won't because I don't.
You know what it's about though?
Yeah.
You won't when you see the ads. That's the point.
The problem, that's the problem is they disguise it. Like they made it seem like the description and everything, because we went and saw it in theaters. It just looked like a cheesy rom-com, right?
Yeah.
They made it seem like it's this guy and this girl fall in love in like the 70s and they go on all these adventures. They left out the whole like 15-year age gap and that he wasn't even old enough to drive.
Right.
Like she was literally old enough to be his mother.
But that's okay because she has a vagina and he has a penis.
Yeah.
It's not taking advantage because boys develop physically.
I'm telling you though, it's coming. They're going to start normalizing it more and more and more and more. And 5 to 10 years, you're going to see a movie about a guy with a girl that's an age gap, and it's good because there was another one that won a bunch of awards and it was about 2 gay guys. It's easier to push 2 gay guys like that than it's easier to push a girl and a guy, and soon it'll be a guy and a girl and it'll just be normalized. And the worst part about that movie, man, was that it's not like they're like, this is bad. They try to make you sympathize with the girl, and they try to make it like seem like it's like it's the fucking Notebook for pedophiles. Like they try to make you be on their side. I had enough problem when Dear John my girlfriend made me watch Dear John, and how am I supposed to feel bad for the stupid cunt in this movie? She cheats on her fucking man while he's overseas and finds a new guy. And then he gets back. That guy gets cancer. And she's like, I don't want to deal with the cancer. I want you back. She's the worst character in any movie I have ever seen. I've watched movies about Hitler, and the bitch from The Notebook was just as bad as him. Like, it's fucking horrible.
It made me hope I never
not The
get
Notebook.
Cancer.
Dear John. Yeah, you never get cancer.
I hope I never get cancer, babe, because I'm fucked.
She'll just leave.
I'm way more of a shithead than that guy was.
Why are we supposed to? Why is she the hero in this movie? I don't understand that.
Awful.
Because she has a vagina.
Yeah.
I've never heard of this movie. Like there used
Dear
to
John,
be like
really?
sitcom. There used to be a sitcom called Dear John. It was okay. It was poor guy got a Dear John letter, whatever. He kind of went on with his life. This sounds fucking terrible. That lady just left.
Can I just share a little tidbit from my military time in the Army?
Please.
We called it a Jody letter.
I've heard of this.
Those that are cinemaphiles. Mm-hmm. You'll appreciate Jody.
Jody's back home screwing your lady.
Back home fucking your wife.
Jody boy.
Yeah.
I've heard that.
So you get Jody letters all the time. Yeah,
that's awful.
So I didn't get any Jody letters, of course. Yeah.
Obviously, but how do they usually take? Like, is it usually the younger guys get those? How do they take that? That's got to be fucking awful to be all the way over there and get that news in a letter.
It's tough to watch. Like, it's demoralizing. But the guys it happens to, it's never a surprise. You look at him, you're like, you've got an ICP tattoo somewhere you're hiding, don't you, motherfucker?
Well, dude, it's a stereotype. It's a stereotype because it's true. There's a lot of military guys that like they'll date these girls for 3 months and get married to them.
Yep.
Why?
Yep. I watched some crazy fucking shit. Dude, I've seen guys get married and divorced in the same amount of time that we were home on break between deployments. So like we would be home for like 8 months, and I'd watch guys get married and divorced more than once over these breaks. And then what happens, like that's again, I support, freedom of the fucking marriages, right? Do whatever the fuck you want. Fuck whoever, do whatever you want. But what's weird is that you're 19, you're about to go over and die, maybe. And so you are destitute, and this fucking 32-year-old whore has grabbed onto your sack and won't let go, and now you're fucked. And there's this thing in the military called an SGLI. It's you give over everything. You give everything that you have to this person when you die, including your flag. So the term is not SGLI, it's giving your flag. Well, I love this bitch so much, I'm gonna give her my flag.
If you get a baby from a military guy, you got benefits for life.
Benefits for life. Yeah. And if he dies, you are a gold star wife.
Yeah.
That's some good shit. That's good money.
What comes along with that?
Well, I mean, I by no means want to speak for DuckDuckGo, but I want everybody to go and search it because you get benefits, you get money, you get prestige. The biggest thing is prestige. For bitches like that grab onto the sack when they know a guy's about to deploy with an army infantry combat unit on their third deployment in 15 months, in 25 months, they know what's going to happen to that Joe. He's either coming back so fucked up that he just wants to go out and fish and be fine, and he wants to probably go fuck around anyway. She just needs his money, or he's going to get his shit blown up and he's going to die, and that'll be great because then I get to be this. Look at me! Look at how hard it is for me. For those not watching, I wipe the sweat away from my forehead.
I've seen some women on, I don't interact with them. I've seen like screenshots. I'm not on any of the same pages as these people, but you will refer to me as my husband's rank. What the hell is that about?
In the military, or at least in the army, we call those dependopotamus.
Are they usually the same shape as a hippopotamus?
I want to be socially and politically correct here, but
you don't have to do that shit on my show.
Yeah, I don't think anybody's ever accused him of being athletic.
Yeah,
I don't remember the last time I saw an officer's wife that was fit. I don't think she's gonna run to where she's going. She's not. I wouldn't call her fat, but I don't.
Well, I mean, does she need to run from the TV to the door to go get the Amazon Prime shit she bought on his credit card? I
think that COVID-19 has done some wonderful things for fat, disgusting, worthless, fucking vampire leech wives in the military. Because now the government says stay home too. It used to be that her fat fucking worthless life was wrapped up in sitting her fat ass on the fucking love seat while he went off and served the country and doing whatever the fuck he did for the country. Which, by the way, sorry, and it used to be that way. It's not that way anymore. Period. New statement. Fuck you. Just because you went and fixed a fucking truck or changed the oil on a fucking Hemmet for 3 years, fuck you. You might have served your country, but calm the fuck down. Stop using that fucking nomenclature all the fucking time. I don't even use that shit. And I did some whatever shit. I did whatever. I went with an infantry unit, came back and got whatever. But there's
you were an active duty. You saw stuff.
I got the opportunity, unfortunately, to do the shit that I signed on the dotted line to say I would fucking do. That's really important to mention. I said, give me the gun. I want to go do this. Nobody said you have to do this. Nobody said, here, go do that shit over there. So then when I come back, fuck me if I come back with this thank you for my service. You better say thank you.
Right.
I'm grateful. But at the same time, fuck you if you're anything other than the humble, grateful, low position, in my opinion. And that's a lot of these guys, humans, what are their gender? They come back and they're they have this hero mentality. And segue to cops get it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
Cops get it. And it's because they're going to their own Chirac or their own Chai Omaha or Omaha Rack or whatever they're going to every day.
Their own little shithole of the area of the world, where they're
going to their own little deployment, and they don't ever get to leave their war zone. So when they come back to their home or to their life, they're expected to act normie, and I was going somewhere and I lost it. God
no, I totally get what you're saying there. I mean, but the worst are like the small town cops that just have that power complex, and they don't deal with shit, but they're just fucking assholes about it.
It's like, the same vibe, right? It's the same vibe. Yeah. That's why there we go. Thank you, Caleb. Thank you. The fat, disgusting wife that I referred to, the small town shitty cop, and the shithead veteran. Those are the same people. They all have the same malady in their brain, and I think it's that they think that the world owes them something. Like they're like the world, like everything they're doing in life is out to get justified.
I repaired refrigerators for this country for 6 months.
Fucking A, right. I got in trouble because I wouldn't show up to formation 4 fucking weeks in a row. And they kicked me out after I signed my DD-214. But I put that uniform on, saying I served my country. And it's like, motherfucker. Yeah, you signed on a fucking dotted line like millions and millions of other people have.
Yeah.
Big
and luckily, luckily the vets that I know, when you say thank you for your service, are like, I appreciate it, but no, I don't.
A lot of them don't like that.
Yeah, they're like, no, just doing my job.
That's how it's fucking supposed to be.
That's cool. You know what I mean?
People are supposed to say thanks for your service, and vets are supposed to say, I'm just doing my job. Cops are supposed to say the same thing. Firefighters are supposed to say, because truly that's what it is.
Well, no, you thank cops for their service, and they go, stop resisting, and they just keep beating you. That's what they
thank you for your.
They have. So I was listening to Tim Dillon because he used to be a tour guide in New York City. He used to ride the bus, and he was talking about how he was doing this tour, and they drove by Building 7, like the 9/11 Ground Zero shit. And he was like talking about the fire department and everything that happened on 9/11. And, he's like, you got these tourists from Europe, from Japan, from Africa, from Mexico, all over the world, sitting here in this tour bus. And this guy goes, I was there on 9/11. And all these people are just sitting there like they're going to hear this great story about this heroism of the firefighters. And the guy goes, the firemen didn't run into the building. They ran away. They were cowards. The firemen were cowards on 9/11.
Oh my God.
I want to have a talk with that cat because that seems like a nice guy.
I think we should get him on the podcast. I want to hear his take.
Anybody that's willing to be that anti-establishment, yeah. That guy's probably a libertarian. He probably carries a gun and smokes weed for sure.
The firemen are cowards.
Oh my God.
That's an Ari Shafir bit, right? Like shit on heroes.
I literally had an idea. I was either going to create a Patreon or an OnlyFans account, and for $5 a month, once a week, I would release a 5-minute video of me just bashing a protected class. And I'm not talking protected like special needs kids. I'm like nurses, EMTs, school teachers, like the people the jobs that were thank you heroes, DoorDash drivers. Like
during the pandemic, the heroes on the front line, the essential workers. The essential workers,
grocery store clerks, the biggest fucking heads, and we will regret it for the rest of our lives.
You are a 19-year-old shitty fucking phlebotomist from West Omaha.
You're here because you can't pass a drug test at fucking Kroger.
Yes,
like I mean that's literally why you're at this bag and save right now.
Scrubs are not weapons. You are not a hero.
Right? Well, I mean, like I had a girl come at me one time about the mask mandates, and she kept throwing out that she works in the medical field, and that's why I should listen to her because she knows all about this and she deals with this every day. And I finally went, okay, if you're going to throw your job at me, you need to be more specific. What do you do? Because that's a huge field. Like do you work at a company? Like, are you a brain surgeon, or do you work at a company that calls out and does surveys for the medical field? You know what I mean?
Right.
And she's like, well, I clean the surgical tables. I'm like, okay, so you giving medical advice would be like the janitor at Edward Jones telling me how to invest my money. Like, this is what, like,
that's a Warner Brothers film I watched once. The janitor made it into the CEO.
Is that the Eddie Murphy one?
I don't remember. It's the one where he's like, I'm a cleaner. And then they're like, here's $1 million. What are you going to do with it? And he's like, I'm going to invest it and make millions. This guy's a genius. Give this hobo a Lexus.
Oh, no. I was thinking Trading Places. Yeah.
Oh,
where they make him.
That's a brilliant
They bet that
film.
they can take a homeless guy off the street.
There is so
really
much
good movie.
Absolute misogyny and racism in that film that I just
Eddie Murphy.
Oh, I watch it over and over again. Oh, so good.
Eddie Murphy in the
80s
not
films
fucking Daddy Daycare. Eddie Murphy.
Yeah,
or not Daddy Daycare. No, Shrek. Like
You said a film with 2 Ds, and I immediately thought Donnie Darko, and was going to ask you about.
No, that's Jake Gyllenhaal. I actually have a Donnie Darko tattoo in my arm.
Do you really?
Yeah, it's a fucking
nerd.
What does he? You could name anything. This kid's got a cat tattooed on him somewhere.
Yeah, you can't see it.
It might be this big. It might be this big. It just doesn't matter.
It's there somewhere. Have that many. I've lost count.
Oh no.
Sometimes I forget that I have them.
I just think it's important to summarize. I think because I don't know if we ever did to bring that public school discussion to a close.
Yeah.
I don't think that if you send your kids to public school, you're a bad parent.
No.
I just think that if you haven't considered the options and made a decision, you're a horrible human. Not even a bad parent. You're a bad person, and you need to change. And like that's in this culture, I feel like that's the easiest fucking thing to do than it's ever been before, to change the way you fucking think about it.
There's so many options now. I mean, it's
okay to be wrong. It's okay to admit you're wrong and change your behavior and go forward. Like, one of my biggest regrets in raising my daughter was that I didn't know better. I sent her to public school. I was a young person. I didn't know.
It's the educational industrial complex is what I call it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's literally, and like my dad partners with a foundation, and their whole goal is to go into these schools and tell these kids, like, hey, you don't have to go to college. Like, you know, if you don't go to college, you're not going to be stuck working as a cashier for your entire life. Like, there are options. You can make a good living doing other things. You don't have to go into debt, you know, for a worthless business degree, you know,
and you don't have to go carry a gun and kill a dark person across the fucking globe so that you can get free college.
Yeah.
That's a fucking, everybody knows that's a fallacy. Everybody knows that's fucking ridiculous. And everyone still that joins the army, oh man, I got that college
money. GI Bill, yeah.
That's GI Bill.
Yep.
I'm like, fuck college.
Yeah.
Give me $10,000 in cannabis credits and I'll go give medicine to cancer patients. You know what I mean? Like,
just so
fuck you. Like,
it's so
GI Bill.
So dated. Like, I mean, you can you can pay $3,000 a semester to go to the public college, you know, like a UNO, UNL, and listen to someone who probably knows their shit. Or you can go on YouTube and watch a TED Talk on the same subject from the person that wrote the fucking book on it.
Right.
Like that for free. Like you can, or very, very little, like $1. Like, I mean, like that, if you don't want the ads.
Exactly. Speaking of books, if I can make a completely non sequitur here.
Yeah.
If anyone does happen to have made it this long into the podcast, congratulations. Good job. Okay. Good job. Now, don't pause the podcast while you do this, but later go DuckDuckGo, Bessel van der Kolk, The Body Keeps the Score. That book transformed the way that I think about schooling, the way I think about what happened.
I don't know. We got a weird comment. Put it up on the screen.
It says today.
Vom today.
Vom today. That's German. Weißt du bist Weltobersteinen? No.
I wish.
No, but for real though, Bessel van der Kolk, The Body Keeps the Score. It'll help you. It'll help you be a better you, so that then when you have a kid, your kid isn't such a piece of shit. Or when your kid becomes a piece of shit, you can point to something and say, oh, fuck, that's why I'm a shithead. They're a shithead. We're shitheads. And you said it earlier, Dre. You're like, people make mistakes. And that is fucking, that's the beauty, is like these errors occur. And Caleb mentioned it earlier, jiu-jitsu. Like, that's the reason I love jiu-jitsu. It's an entire session of fuck-ups. And then eventually you stop fucking up so much that when you go against somebody like Caleb, you see how much you can fuck up less.
I mean, that's what life is. It's just a series of fuck ups till you get something right.
God damn it, Caleb. Wi-Fi.
You just throw.
It's like a wireless. Oh,
I thought we were high-fiving.
I
mean, you fuck things up. You throw darts at the board until you hit something. You know,
right?
But comedy. That's my whole comedy routine.
Everyone's comedy.
Just
routine.
Throw darts at shit till it sticks.
Everyone's comedy.
Pedophiles in Nazi Germany? Nope. Okay. Fuck parents and kids? Nope. Okay. Everybody's an asshole? Nope. Okay. Tim's gonna preach about shit? Nope. Okay, we're gonna keep moving.
You just keep
going.
But
okay, so I think that we would both agree that your job as a parent, you should always have your teaching hat at first of all. So everybody should be a homeschool all day long, nighttime school teacher when you have your children around. I mean, I still do it, and my child's a long since been adult.
Which is exhausting, and it's hard as fuck.
But it's what you do. What's what you signed up for.
That's your shit. When you go get a dog from the fucking kennel, and you don't treat that dog well, you're a piece of shit. But if you go have a kid and then you drop your kid off inadvertently without any thought or consideration into a building filled with fucking humans that you've never fucking met before, and you trust them for their raising,
and at least one of them's a child molester.
At least one.
At least one.
And at least 3 of that group of kids' peers, if there's 10 of them, have also been fucked with somehow. So if the teacher doesn't come and fuck with the kid, you better believe that one of those fucking peer students is going to come and try to fuck with the kid, because that's the second most common rate of child molestation. Is number 1, it's family, and number 2, peers, because they were fucked with, and then they come and then they do the thing, and then it's fucked up, man. And I'm not trying to say fuck public schools as a general rule, because there are so many teachers I know that give a huge shit about their students.
For sure.
And you and I both know a guy that would probably fucking give his own life for one of his students if it came down to it.
Absolutely.
For sure.
But at the same time, we accept and recognize that he is a part of a fucked system that only makes lemmings.
He does too. And you know what? That's why I hear all the time he wants to change it from the inside. And unfortunately, I think he's figuring out that that's not really a thing you can do, because it's just so much bigger than you. And he's often frustrated by the limitations he has doing what he does,
which is true. And I recognize as a parent, if I was to submit my children to a system like this, I would have to submit to a system like this, and I can't. I refuse to.
Good.
My health, my medicine, my mental wellness, my household, the productivity of my children, the education of their children. I mean, the list keeps going and going, and it has very little to do with religion. It has very little to do with it. I mean, in my opinion, personally, I mean, it has like a hair, because because of what I said earlier about like the cult of mass thinking, like it's a church sort of in and of itself, like the church of public school, right? I don't want them indoctrinated into that religious thinking, because you see what that doctrine produces today in the 13 and 14-year-old pink-haired fucking weirdo troglodyte knuckle-dragging fucking
and you know
monsters at the bowling alley.
You know what?
Oh my Christ!
You know what? Those you know, like you said, Zazer, whatever, pink hair. That's the next generation of teachers.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
The next generation of teachers. That's who's going to be teaching your kids.
So I have to wrap my fucking death grip hands around the idea that in a non-pretentious way, there have got to be other people raising their kids like me, maybe. Now, I say like me cautiously, because I fuck up a lot all the time.
And we all do, but
it's that core, that pillar, those foundations that are set, that when you have a major fuck up, it's not an emergency. It's you go back to the foundations, you know.
Have you seen the he got a lot of shit for this. Have you seen the black guy with the face tattoos and the dreadlocks that homeschools his kids?
Yes.
It went around a couple years ago. I mean, he got a lot of shit because he was teaching them how to like how to like load guns blindfolded and shit like that.
Yes. And those kids were proficient.
He was and they were, and he was teaching them stuff. You know, I mean, he taught them the math and the science and the reading and the writing and shit, but he also taught them he taught them history, but he taught them like, here's some of the fucked up shit the CIA's been doing. You know, like America's not always been the good guy in these foreign affairs. More often than not, we're not. You know, at best, we're the anti-hero. You know what I mean? Like it's, and he was teaching them that. And I'm sorry, I have no issue with any of that. I think if more people taught their kids that. What do you?
I want to. You go ahead. I was actually looking at the lyrics to this song that relates precisely to what you were saying.
Yeah,
it's Royce da 5'9".
What song?
It's On the Run.
Oh,
I'm a big hip hop fan, and one of the things he promotes, and when he talks about hip hop with his kids, is not to be a part of the system, not to simply follow the consensus, and not to make it about black and white when it's not about black and white, but simply to make it about education. And a lot of the things that he teaches his kids, how many ounces are in a pound? You hear him, and he's a rapper, so he says, it's funny because you hear him, and he's like, all right, how many ounces are in a pound? And you hear the kid answer, and he's like, what's the square root of 44? And the kid answers, and like, oh shit. You thought he was about to start going into like this drug thing, right?
Yeah.
But he's like, oh shit, that. And then he goes, who was the 43rd or the 23rd president? And it starts going off all these rando things, like if somebody gives you $11 and a $12 tip, and you want to keep 10% of it, and 2% of it has to go back to the business, how much would you have at the end? And he's like, and then like two like life ethical questions too. He's like, you know, if somebody comes up and hits you in the mouth, what's the most appropriate thing to do as a man? And then like he answers like all the right answers. And as much as I got hyped about those answers, I was excited to see a person, no matter their color, gender, location, to give a fuck about their kid enough to like teach them these hard shits. But I recognize that like that's still indoctrination in a religion. So it's important not to shit on indoctrinating your kids or rote memorization or any of that shit, because whether we want to or not, whether we admit it or not, and whether we recognize it or not, whether we're cognizant of it or not, it's fucking happening. Your kids are being indoctrinated. You are being indoctrinated with whatever cult you surround yourself with and plug into your ears. In my opinion, it's Theo Von, Joe Rogan, Tom Segura, fucking Caleb, Salvatore, fucking, you know, I mean, like these are the people I'm listening to that are funny. And they also speak into my life in a way, right? So whatever cult of personalities you're allowing to speak into your kid's life, that's going to be the cult they're going to follow. And the cult of personalities at public school right now is be a pink-haired, non-binary, fucking subhuman thing. You know, it's like it's not even human anymore. It's like this other gender race thing. It's other like kin. I don't even know.
It's
not fair.
Other kin, you know,
it's so
whatever you decide that day, you know, you saw your
that's a Marxist thing. It gets kids to question their parents. There was I think fucking James Lindsay was his name that wrote a book on it. It's a Marxist practice. It's when you tell kids, you know, when kids have grown up their whole life thinking there are boys and girls, and you tell them, well, no, there's not boys and girls. There's anyone can be whatever they want. It gets them to start to, it plants the seed. Wow, my parents are retards. Why was I listening to them? They're closed-minded. They're bigoted. They're like, the weirdest thing is those people, like, you think about like what was super liberal like 15 years ago, like feminists and gay people. They're the new Republicans. They hate feminists and they hate gays because that implies there's only two genders. Like that's the new enemy. Like Tim Dillon has a bit in his stand-up that if you're a gay male in 2020, you might as well just be a neo-Nazi, white supremacist. Like it's the same thing.
Yeah, I mean, like me being a cisgender. No, I said it the other day on my Facebook. Cisgender?
Cisgender.
No, not cisgender. Sesh.
What's that?
CESCH.
I don't know what that is.
It's not. So like cis is if I'm the internet's gonna troll me. Cis is like straight, right? Straight.
That's like cis is like where you no, because you can be cis and gay. Cis is like where you identify as the gender you were born as. So correct.
Assigned at birth.
Sesh. I want to Google this.
CESCH. Sesh gender.
Yeah, what the fuck is
Czech?
This is
like Czech, Czechoslovakian?
I said it on my internet. Timothy.m. No, it's Timothy M. Locklear on Facebook. But basically, I as an individual that identifies as what I was born with a beard, who consumes hemp, who consumes IPAs, who carries and promotes the carrying of a firearm at time to time, who generally falls in line with what would be considered to be the libertarian ideal, typically and generally.
Mm-hmm.
All
and you're
that
wearing
said,
the shirt.
And I'm wearing the lumbersexual shirt. I've got the black and yellow. I've got the beard. I still think it's absolutely heinous and terrible and wrong when people of any identity are treated poorly, right? So then,
of course,
that's really not hard to get behind.
It sounds like it's not hard to get behind. It seems simple and logical, but how we treat people doesn't always, that doesn't always come up to the par. Like our bar is, we're going to treat people well, generally, and it's bad when it's not happening. Generally, like we shouldn't treat people poorly if we can help it, right? But then we see someone come in and say, I'm a vegetable, you know, I'm a carrot. I'm a fucking, you know, I'm a head of lettuce. And it's like, listen, man, like I appreciate that. And I'm going to do everything I can to not be a dick to you as long as you don't force me to call you a head of lettuce.
That's the way. No, that's the comparison I make is, go ahead.
Yeah. You may have just said this argument.
No. The thing with the whole pronouns thing is it's not even, they're trying to control speech when you're not even speaking to them, because you don't call, if I'm speaking to you, I'm not going to call you he. I'm going to call you by your name or you.
Right. Yeah.
Yes.
When I'm talking about you to somebody else, I'm going to refer to you as him or whatever.
That's why they said
you're trying to control my speech when I'm not even talking to you.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Suck all the dicks.
The comparison I make about the non-binary identify as whatever thing, and I've made it before. So I do comedy, right? There are a lot of delusional motherfuckers that think they're funny in comedy, right? And I have seen those people. Those people will go on stage and it will be crickets for 10 minutes and they will get off and they will come back into the green room and go, man, I killed it out there. Did you see me? If you tell me that you killed it out there, I'm not playing along with the delusion. I'm going to go, no, you didn't, dude. Like, you did not have a good set.
I didn't see anybody laugh.
But at the same time, I would be an asshole if unprovoked, I was just constantly going up, going, hey, man, you're not fucking funny. You're fucking lame. You're not, your jokes fucking blow. You're not funny at all, dude. Like that would make me an asshole.
I think you're right.
Yeah.
And I think I agree.
Yeah.
But I have this other side of the coin here. Here it goes. If you're a fat piece of shit and you want to not be a fat piece of shit, the best way is to get around somebody who's going to incessantly call out your fat piece of shittedness.
Yeah.
That's the best way.
Yeah.
David Goggins proved it. Mm-hmm. That motherfucker came from literally the bottoms and now he's here. He's the reason that fucking song. David Goggins. Go watch that.
He's like a
go read
motivational speaker type
He's a
guy.
piece of shit as a human. He can't like maintain a marriage and like he's been divorced a bunch of times and
but the man has got some jacked pecs.
But he's got really good pecs, which makes me listen to him. No, but like honestly, he's an example of somebody that I use who came from literally from shit. He came from nothing and chose to do something and then fucking did it. Now, apparently he didn't choose to also stay married because he's been divorced 3 times, but you know, it's not for me to fucking judge. But he also was the only black Army Ranger to also be a Navy fucking SEAL.
Damn.
Which that says a lot. And then he also beat the world record in pull-ups.
In one dude.
Exactly. But the reason that he was successful per his own book was he put Post-it notes up on the mirror, said, you're a fat fuck up. You're a fat fuck up. And then it's like, okay, I read that and some people would read it and they'd be like, oh, I'm on this sucks. And blah, 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 blah. And there's also people who would say that that's also a generation of people that would respond that way. But I would say it's a healthy person's response to you're a fat fuck up is, all right, first of all, who are you? Are you somebody that knows enough to tell if I'm a fuck up?
Right, yeah.
You know, Caleb,
or are you trolling the internet?
Caleb hangs out with me.
Yeah.
He sees that I'm not a fuck up, maybe, or that I am. And then secondly, so is it a person that I trust that really can speak about? And then secondly, is there any validity what they're saying?
Mm-hmm.
Do I smell like poo-poo? Because if I do, there's a chance I am a fat piece of shit.
Mm-hmm.
And then, okay, so now what do? Now I go and say, hey, Caleb, I'm a piece of shit. How do I get better? And then we get better.
You know, sometimes you have to write those notes. There was a time in my life where I was snacking late at night. And so I put a Post-it note in my pantry and I said, this is what fat girls do. Stop it.
Oh, shit. Damn.
Maybe I should do that. I'll same wording. I'll say this is what fat girls do.
And like I put a moratorium on buying fitted pants until I started working out. I'm like, no, people who don't work out don't get new pants, especially not nice fitted pants. Sorry.
The guy that put the picture of Terry Crews from Everybody Hates Chris in his wallet. So every time he was going to spend money that he didn't need to, he saw the dad from Everybody Hates Chris just glaring at him.
Oh my God, that show was so good.
It's 25 cents of Kool-Aid on my table. Somebody's going to drink it.
Imagine if that worked with like condoms where like you just wear like a condom all day and then you tell yourself, I'm not going to take this off unless I like don't do a thing. And then you take the condom off and then you just wear a condom all day for no reason at all.
That sounds incredibly uncomfortable.
Well, I think that's...
No, there's a guy. I know I'm joking, but for real, there's a dude who I know who told me he was younger. We were in the military and he would tell me that he would like to masturbate into condoms. And we would get well, I mean, yeah, he said it felt good. He said it was okay. But then we would all get in trouble because he would leave his condoms in the toilet.
Ew.
Yeah, and so people thought there was some gay dudes fucking. because there were always condoms filled with cum in the toilet.
Oh, and back in the day, man, the military wasn't having none of that shit.
There was don't ask, don't tell going on.
Yeah.
So why didn't he flush it, or would they not go down, or what?
You can't flush rubber.
I don't know. You can't.
That would destroy your pipes.
I think it'll mess up. I think it'll fuck it up,
dude. Literally the only things you're supposed to flush down the toilet are shit and toilet paper. Even those flushable wipes.
But he would say that he would wear them all day.
What have you been putting down our toilet? Why did you look at me like that?
He would
because we all flush tampons. Get over it.
Ew.
Oh.
But he would say like he would wear it all day, and he's like it would feel good.
Why?
Wait,
with the cum in it?
I mean, not with the cum. I guess I never asked him that, but like he would like roll it on during the day when he would like wake up with his morning wood before he would beat off, and then just like leave it on all day, and then he would take it off.
Oh.
Look, the army is this is another fucking case why the army is not filled with fucking heroes. Okay. It's not filled with fucking thinkers. You know what I mean?
Welcome for my service.
It's filled with a bunch of guys that, leave condoms on all day.
Well, I think that's how we're going to end this.
What a
Jesus
great question.
Christ.
Do you have anything you want to plug?
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah, Tim. Tim, when can we see you do stand up again?
Oh, man, that's a great question. So during
I haven't
the winter,
seen you do it forever.
I'll do my show in April.
I'll come.
You want to do my show? You want to be on it?
I mean, that is an honor. I don't assume or presume that my comedy is at the level.
Do you want to be on it?
I would love to.
Okay, cool. April. I'll tell you the date soon. I think it's April 16th.
All right, cool.
It's a Saturday.
He's on the April show.
So there's an answer for that, but I also try my best to frequent the. It would be Wednesday evenings.
At the Backline.
At Backline, and then also Wired is on. Let's see.
Thursdays. That's the one I run.
Yeah.
Thursdays at Wired.
There we are. So there are places in the metro area where you can come and stare at my beard and my lumbersexual shirts.
Fuck yeah.
Yes.
Fuck yeah.
Are you going to be there tomorrow? Because if you are, I will come tomorrow.
At the Backline? Tomorrow's Wednesday.
Or sorry, no, on Thursday. I meant Thursday. I'm not.
My hope and prayer would be to be there. However, I am a seasonal landscaper, and we are moving into our season of busyness. Mm-hmm. So if you have a tree or a boulder that you need moved, am I allowed to say the
plug your business? Hell
as long as they don't care.
He doesn't care. Omaha Landscaping Solutions is an amazing company, and whether I work for them or not, you should call them. And these views previously stated do not say represent those of that company.
But they might.
I mean, they're not.
May or may not. But
that is a great company. I'm not saying I work for them. I'm just saying that's a great company. And if you have things that you need done in the metro area, they're the ones you should look up. And if you need to know how to get a hold of them, you can send me a message and I'll send you there. Trees, boulders, small people that need buried in the ground. What's that?
What's their website?
The website is www.omahalandscapingsolutions.com, and it's lawnscaping, not landscaping.
Lawnscapingsolutions.com. omahalandscapingSolutions.com. Awesome.
There it is.
Fuck yeah.
Right. That is a great company that some people do work for.
Maybe you, maybe not. Make sure you guys slap the like button, subscribe, give us 5 stars on Spotify. We're trying to get it available everywhere, audio wise. They're just being a pain in the ass about it. So hopefully we'll have it. If you're an Apple listener or you don't pay for Spotify or whatever, March 19th at Wired, I'll be doing Harmful Content Comedy. That's my monthly show here in Omaha. 26th at the Sober Lounge. I'll be hosting that. April 9th, I will be emceeing the Nebraska Libertarian Convention in North Platte and then doing a show at the bar down the street after that night. It's a Peg Legs bar or something like that. There's only 50 seats though. In a town like North Platte, it's probably going to sell out pretty quick. So make sure you go. It'll be fun.
Do you think that's the first time the word North Platte and Peg was used in the same sentence?
No,
I don't think so either.
Anyways, this has been Mental Misdeeds. Dre, do you want to plug anything?
I'm good.
Okay. I figured you didn't have any comedy or anything going on. This has been Mental Misdeeds. Thank you so fucking much.
Deuces.
Good night.